Okay. Thank you very much. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am honored to be on this panel with distinguished panelists. My name is Chagulanyi Seta. My real name is Chagulanyi Seta Robert. I always keep complaining that my musical stage name slowly but surely overtook my real name. However, I'm consoled because it's much easier to pronounce. So please call me Bobby. I strongly believe that I shouldn't be the one here, especially if in the room we have my extraordinarily strong wife, Barbara Shagulanyi. Who I believe is one of the strongest women that I know. And in addition to that, in the house we have my sister Agatha Atreide. She's a lawyer and activist, and she has gone through so much that I believe not so many can stand. However, since today I'm the one invited and I'm the one having a necktie in my neck, I believe I represent them. I've listened to the panelists. However, I strongly believe that if it's to talk about repression, if it's to talk about gross human rights violations, if it's to talk about cross-border repression, if it's to talk about dictatorship, then Uganda should be the country to come first. Uganda is a country of close to 50 million people under the firm grip of General Yoweri Kaguta Museveni for 40 years and counting. He took power by barrel of the gun in 1986. And up to now, he's still in charge of our country. He is famously quoted to have said the problem with Uganda in particular and Africa in general are the leaders that overstay in power. But now it's a very big crime to remind him of what he said when he was my age. I am here not on invitation, not voluntarily. I'm here because I ran away from the challenge of General Museveni. We had an election where the internet was switched off 2 days to the election and it remained off for a week. We had an election where immediately after I cast my vote, I was put under house arrest with my wife. But before that, days before, many dozens of our party officials were rounded up and detained. My two deputy presidents, who are women, were abducted a day before the election, and they remained missing for 2 weeks. When they resurfaced, they told an ordeal of being detained in a military barracks supervised by General Museveni's son, Muhoozi Kainerugaba, who is actually the Chief of Defense Forces in Uganda. Many people were abducted, they've not been seen again. My deputy president for the Buganda region, the most populous region, had his house raided by the military. See, women play a big role in our elections. They are the organizers. And when somebody is running, we tend to have our tally centers where when we collect the declaration of result forms. The women tend to play the most important role of compiling the results. Now, the military raided the house of Honorable Mwanga Chibundi and shot into the house, killing 10 people in his house, 8 of which were women. Now, I'm only talking about the ones that are known, but as we speak, thousands of our supporters are in jails. The difference between 2026 and 2021, because I ran in 2021 as well, is that in 2021, there was still a semblance of cover-up. However, in 2026, because the son of the president, who also doubles as the Chief of Defense Forces, the Army Commander, does not pretend to be a good dictator. He will kill people and he will take pride in it. He will post on social media about it. He was proud to post that I have killed 24 of National Unity Platform, which is the political party. I've killed 24 of NUP members, and I'm so I'm looking forward to kill the 25th, which I want to be Bobby. Now Bobby is me. He ordered for my execution, and indeed my house was raided on the 16th of January, and I was lucky because we had gotten some good lessons of 2026. I played James Bond and escaped from my house. Yeah, it would be funny if it was inside. You know, I left my house a few days later. My house was raided again because my wife remained under house arrest. This time, the soldiers broke into my house, only men. They beat up my wife so bad and my other family members, they stripped her naked. Meanwhile, they were filming. And like I said, the son of the president, who also is the commander of the military, takes pride in torture, especially torturing vulnerable people like women. He was proud to post the image of my wife subdued on the floor with soldiers with guns. And he said, yeah, this is the picture when he captured Kabobi's wife, and she was forced to tell us where the husband was. I remained on the run. I mean, so much of that. It is not only happening with my wife. He abducted my bodyguard and long-term friend Eddie. We looked for him for 2 weeks. We complained everywhere until in the middle of the night he tweeted and said, don't look for him. I'm holding him in my basement and I'm teaching him Nyankole. Now, Nyankole is the language of the tribe where General Museveni comes from. And indeed, when Eddie showed up, he was all shaved, beaten, but unfortunately, when he was taken to court, he was not given a chance to go to the ICU in hospital. He was thrown in jail and is still in jail. Now, these stories have gone on and on and on and on and on. The repression, the abuse of human rights in Uganda is worse and worse and worse as it keeps going. When people talk about the same, I understand when you talk about Tanzania, in Kenya, but like Trevor Noah one time joked, said in Uganda, it is worse. What makes it even worse is that those that we look up to are not looking for accountability. I like that Otieno talked about it. It is not accountability and justice that is looked for, but political settlements. No wonder so many political players are silenced or compromised. We have what is supposed to be the highest moral body, the Interreligious Council. Now, the Interreligious Council comprises of religious leaders of all the religious sects that come together in what is supposed to be a moral body. They went to my house when I was being looked for, when the son of the president was tweeting every day, giving me 48 hours to show up or you'll find me and kill me, ordering soldiers to look for me everywhere and kill me. Again, my wife and family was under house arrest. They did not have food because nobody was allowed to go in my house or come out of my house. But when the Interreligious Council went to my house, what they were asking my wife to do, number one, there were two things. First is to warn me not to destabilize the country. And two, asking whether I'm willing to sit down with General Museveni. And I've said it many times, that we are not disagreeable to dialogue, but not transactional dialogue. And also reasserting ourselves that it's only free people that negotiate. And our action and what works for our country and individual. Now, this has also been a big problem to us. We find ourselves in the United States and not in any country in Africa. Why? Because we believe that it is countries like the United States that wield power and influence over authoritarians like General Museveni. We are aware that for a long time the United States was giving up to $1 billion annually to Uganda in security cooperation. So we have always been requesting, not just the United States, but other developing partners like the EU and the UK, that this aid should be conditioned to values that we all profess: democracy, human rights, and the rule of law. Unfortunately, it has many times played up as if the US and other development partners are only interested in diplomacy and not democracy. And that we believe that the more we and you friends echo that desire, that is what's going to work. Many times the US seems to be persuaded by security cooperation, but not democracy, not the promotion of human rights, which is very disturbing in our case. Now, Professor mentioned it in the case of Tanzania, that in Tanzania, the citizens look at the government like a parent. I wish we could look at the government like a parent, but for us, the government in Uganda is looked at, in fact, the president is looked at as a king, and we are subjects. And the son of the president plays it right, because he's not shy to go on social media and say, well, I cannot wait for Mzee to step aside so I can take my inheritance. For clarity, I would request some of you, and I think I'm promoting you, please go and follow Muhoozi Kainerugaba on Twitter. That will help us, to speak less, because he helps us. He puts everything, and whatever he tweets, we believe it is in many ways their dinner table talk. Now, talking about trans-border repression, transnational repression. In the yesteryears, when people were struggling for freedom and for democracy, particularly in Uganda, they would run to Kenya, they would run to Tanzania. But when I was running out of my country, I could not board a plane in Kenya. I could not board a plane in Tanzania. I had to run as far as 3-4 countries away, because General Museveni is more like the godfather of the region. Dr. Kizza Besigye, the guy who mentored us, and a veteran freedom fighter and political activist and opposition leader, was picked from Kenya. He was abducted from Kenya by the Ugandan security. He was driven across the border in a car trunk and only showed up in Uganda in a military court. This has happened many times. My sister Agatha is here. My brother from Kenya, Boniface Mangi, faced the same plight when they went to stand with our brother Timbulisu in Tanzania. This goes on and on and on and on. What I feel is causing this is the inaction and perceived complacency by those that are supposed to be moral big brothers. Kenya used to be safe. Tanzania used to be safe. I want to believe that because the leaders there seemed to expect repercussions when they abuse rights. But General Museveni in Uganda has emboldened all other leaders to abuse rights with impunity, because they see him get away with it. This is a guy that has been in power for 40 years. This is a guy that massacres citizens with reckless abandon. This is a guy who has a son that will threaten even other countries. When he threatened to invade Kenya and capture its capital in 1 week, the father, who is the president of Uganda, came out and publicly apologized to Kenya. But the following day, promoted the son. When the son tweeted an image of a tortured political activist, the following day, he was made the commander of the military in Uganda. So impunity, injustice, and gross human rights violation and crime is rewarded in Uganda, and Uganda gets away with it. I want you to imagine a situation where the Chief of Defense Forces tweets having killed 24 political opponents, and tweets that he orders his military publicly to look for the presidential candidate that is challenging his father and bring his testicles. I apologize for my crude language, but he tweeted and ordered that my testicles should be delivered to him. Interestingly, the following day, he was standing shoulder to shoulder with diplomats, having dinner with ambassadors of democracies. So this, in many ways, is a slap in the faces of those that talk about human rights, that talk about democracy. And it speaks to the silent acceptance of this. So I want to say this, that maybe this impunity wouldn't be happening. Maybe this dictatorship wouldn't be accepted. And maybe these authoritarian leaders would not be behaving like this. But because their actions are seemingly acceptable by the inaction and by the blind eye that is given to them, then it keeps growing. Now, abductions are the order of the day in Tanzania, they are the order of the day in Kenya. Don't be shocked when they are the order of the day in other countries. I could have gone on and on and on and on, but maybe I'll stop here. And I like to make my conversations interactive. I apologize, I'm still healing from that recent trauma. I tend to pinch myself to make sure I wake up from the ordeal and confirm that I'm surely out of Uganda, because I had to escape from my own country. Many of my friends that are perceived and are thought to have helped me, some of them, I'm told, have been shot and killed. When I was nominated to run for president, the Electoral Commission gave me 16 police officers to man my security, like they did to all other presidential candidates. Interestingly, after my exit from the country, all of them were rounded up and detained. I'm told that 9 of them were dismissed from the police with disgrace. They are being accused of aiding me to exit the country, while others are still in detention. So much has gone on. Many political activists are still detained. Many of our comrades are still detained. But I hear that they are suggesting to have negotiations with the government to allow me to return to my country and to allow the political party I lead to be recognized as a legitimate political party. So I wonder what they nominated to run for president. I could go, like I said, I could go on and on and on, but maybe I'll take the question. I thank you very much for listening to me, and I thank you, fellow panelists. Thank you very much.